Hello and welcome to Axium's orientation video on our new feature, Paperless Billing Review, available in Ajera Complete 6.0. So a little bit before we get started, what are we saying when we're talking about billing review? We're talking about that review process that usually involves a project manager approving an invoice before it goes out to the client. Now, some firms may have some different processes involved. There might be a billing manager that looks over the invoices or even a principal. Recent survey that we did showed that firms are averaging about 4 days for this process to take place, with some firms as high as 15 days. And that can really strain a firm's cash flow. But more than that, it can strain relationships. We had a LinkedIn discussion that illustrated the rift that these billing reports are causing between project managers and accounting. In situations where you have principals breathing down the accountant's neck to get these invoices out by a certain time, and then the accountants are then breathing down the project manager's neck to get those billing reports returned and approved. This diagram is taken from PSMJ during a financial management seminar, and this shows one firm's setup for how they do their billing review. You can see there's quite a bit of back and forth going on between accountants and their project managers, with a lot of documents going back and forth. That's going to be a lot of paper, that's going to be a lot of headache, deciphering notes, entering edits, just overall a lot of back and forth. And you can even see the note at the bottom that says if an invoice is deemed to be approved if it's not returned within 3 working days. So let's talk about bringing that workflow into Ajera. What we've done is we've created a new feature that allows you to create these billing review stages so that you can move your invoice from one person to the other strictly within Ajera. No need for printing out those pre-billing worksheets or billing reports that you were doing in the past. You can use those stages to notify specific people when their action is going to be required on an invoice. Project managers can now access a preview of a draft invoice directly from their project command center and enter any notes for edits. For those of you that have been using Ajera for a while, you may have found that there's some other billing reports that you can use that actually help a project manager see the detail on an invoice a little bit better. There's been more enhancements to the draft invoices and the capabilities there in Ajera 6.0. So you might want to take a look and see if you can get those draft invoices look in the way that you need them to for your project managers to find them effective. So let's go ahead and take a look at this new feature. Here we can see Ajera 6.0. So before we get started, let's take a look at setting up those billing review stages. So I go to my Setup button and I select Review Stages. Here we can see I've actually created a number of different stages, notifying different people when an invoice is in that specific stage. The first two are pre-review and final. Those two stages come hard-coded within the system. So whenever you're creating a new project and invoices are set up there, they're automatically going to be given that pre-review stage. And then also, when your invoice has gone final, Ajera will automatically stamp that final review stage to that invoice as well. In the meantime, you can be moving that invoice from your project managers or billing managers, even back to accounting. You can really have a lot of different flexibility here with setting up your different stages. Here we have a collection stage and a paid stage. Let's create a new one just to see what that's like. Maybe we want to do some milestone billing. So here we'll do a 20% bill stage. And this may be something that the project manager is going to set up on the invoice and notify accounting when that project is 20% done. So here we see we've got our new billing review stage. Now for those accountants, when they come in and look at their Manage Client Invoice window, this is all very familiar if you've been using Ajera for a while. You can see there's a new column here that says Billing Review Stage, and all of our invoices here are in the pre-review stage. So let's say we've reached our invoice cutoff date and we're ready to move these invoices over to our project managers for review. I simply highlight, right-click, select Change Billing Review Stage, and move it to the project managers. I'm also given the ability to assign this a due date. So if I want my project managers to know that I need these billing review notes back by a certain date, I can simply select and say I need them back by Tuesday. Once I press OK, that's taken care of. Well, now let's see what the interface is for a project manager. So here I'm logged in as Mary Boyle, one of our project managers, and I can see in the Project Command Center here that I've got a new column here for Project Manager Action. There's a little check mark that lets me know that this project has some invoices that are requiring my attention. So let's take a look. We have the light rail expansion project, and as I look down here at the individual project information, I can see I also have a new tab that says Invoices. This invoice brings up an inquiry that's going to show me the different bits of information in relating to the invoices associated with this project. So here I can see I've got two that are in the project management review stage, so I'm going to go ahead and preview one of them. When I open it up here in the preview mode, I can see I'm getting a notification that's telling me my action is required on this. And I've got all my supporting detail and a preview of my draft invoice down below. So as I come through the second page, perhaps I see that I'd like to move Mark's time. So I'll come up here and I'll create an entry for that. Once I've entered my notes, I can then change the stage, move this back to accounting so that they can make any edits that they need. So now let's go back over to the accounting and see what their workflow goes to. Here I can see now I've got one of my invoices that's been changed to billing review stage to accounting. So I can highlight that, select preview, and I can see the notes that my project manager has added. Very easy workflow, very easy interface to understand. One thing to note, these stages are not dynamic in the sense that they will change your invoice status. So if I were to come in here and I were to changes made, select OK, and change my stage to final, I can select that and I'm not going to run into any problems such as changing that stage to final, meaning that my client invoice has actually been moved into a final status. Other tools that you can use with billing review are using inquiry. So if you also notice that we set up a collections stage for this billing review, I've also created a collections inquiry. So here we're using our billing manager as our collections person. We have a number of different projects here. We've got a collections due date set up, and we can see any amount, what's been received, what's still outstanding, and the aging report associated with that. We've also been able to capture the billing contact associated with that, and you can do that on that billing review interface. Another inquiry that's been set up is the billing review stage by project manager. So if you have a lot of project managers with multiple invoices in different stages, you can really help them to manage that by setting up these different inquiries so that they can easily see what invoices are in what stage of the process. And you can also use this if you need to call out any project managers that are very late in returning those draft invoices. There's going to be plenty of references for you. Obviously, the Ajera help files, there is a quick reference guide. There's also a link to this orientation recording. So if you need to go back and just kind of go through some of the process a little bit again, you can certainly do that. We've also got LinkedIn, and we encourage you to go on to LinkedIn and talk with other users about the different processes that they may have set up. Also, Axium 411. We do post quite a bit on 411 about different industry topics, but also about future releases and new releases. So you can go on to Axium 411 and learn more about the billing review release. That does it for our billing review orientation. We hope you enjoy the new feature, and thank you for joining us.